Releasing the fused sword/hand, he grabbed the halberd that was just about to run him through, then flung the wielder of said weapon skyward as the halberd was hoisted up. Releasing the fused sword/hand, he grabbed the halberd that was just about to run him through, then flung the wielder of said weapon skyward as the halberd was hoisted up, and then it plunged into bandit number 12, who had just emerged from the surrounding trees. Evidently, there were more bandits hidden in the bushes, as to be expected. Uh-oh, run away. Run away, the mage yelled at the top of his lungs, as a dumbfounded look faded away, leaving one of pure unadulterated fear. Out of sheer randomness, Dirk focused on that cry the mage had let out, trying to attack him as he turned to run, narrowly escaping the club-like fist. Another bandit ran up alongside the mage. I thought the plan was to confuse them? What did you do? He fumbled with the latch on his breastplate. It released and slammed to the ground as he ran. Sweet relief filled his lungs as his load lightened, giving him the range of movement he needed to maintain his getaway. Damn it, mage. I'm a mage, not a fortune-telling soothsayer. I casted my confused spell, the same one I did. The mage ducked under a branch, not daring to look back. The near sound of splintering wood was enough to confirm the raging elf's approach. Same one I did nearly 100 times before, he finished. Coming to the edge of a cliff, the two skidded to a halt, nearly careening off the edge and plummeting to the river below. Behemoth then turned his attention to the two that had been coming to the edge of a cliff. The two skidded to a halt, nearly careening off the edge and plummeting to the river below. Midge looked back in time to see one of his fellow They reached the edge of a cliff. The two skidded to a halt, nearly careening off the edge and plummeting to the river below. Midge looked back in time to see one of his fellow bandits get drop-kicked in the head. His body slammed into a tree and fell out of sight. The raging behemoth then turned his attention to the two that had been the first to take their leave from their ambush. He sees us. He's coming to eat us. The mage was now gripped in a consuming terror and fled, leaping without any thought of the danger that would meet him. The mage fell to the hazardous waters below. Midge stared at the mage, who plummeted down and then impacted on, and then disappeared into the Consumayang waters below. stared at the mage who plummeted down and then impacted into the consuming waters below, and was gone. I can't believe he left me. Turning away from his partner, Dirk was now standing directly in front of him, silently growling like a mad dog that had only been released from his kennel and set loose on invading trespassers, his eyes tearing him limb from limb. Hi, the bandit said as he tried to swallow his fear. I'm sorry. Hi, the bandit said as he tried to swallow his fear. I'm sorry. Hi, came a husky response followed by the lonely bandit's heart sinking to a very pit. The lonely bandit's heart sinking to the very pit of his stomach, just as the rage-filled elf gave a swift and solid boot to the face. A whimpered cry could be heard. As Mooch flew towards the waters below, to join the caster that had gone for a swim, not but mere moments ago. off the ground, removing himself from a prone position, and dusted himself off. Val got back up onto his feet and dusted off his clothes, just in time to see Dirk disappear into the forest. A quick survey of the area told him that most of the bandits had been dealt with. One of them that evidently escaped the wrath of Dirk had his back to Val, kneeling beside one of his fallen comrades. "Oh, glorious," said the bandit, "for I thought I was the only one who survived. For this I am thankful." It sounded to Val that he was mistaking him for one of them. No reason to let him down. Not now. "So why didn't you take care of that elf's partner?" Val just had to ask. That distasteful knave, he gave a quick shrug of his shoulder to indicate the spot where Val had been laying. "You needn't worry about him. That brute slew him before he fled and gave chase to our brethren." He slew him. Where is he? Where? Is he over there? Where's thine thou is thirst where? Val stood, hand above his brow, searching the horizon for himself. Evidently unable to find any trace. Horizon for himself, evidently unable to find any trace. He must be somewhere, but where? The bandit got to his feet. Of course he's dead. Why wouldn't he? He turned to see Val standing directly beside him. Beside him, casting his gaze around exaggeratedly looking for the alleged victim. He stared at Val at a complete loss of dignity. "Oh, it's you." Val didn't bother giving him any more time and dropped him where he stood. "Slew him, you say? Is that what it looked like to you?" Val shook his head, a smile shyly creeping up. "Seriously, you might want to take a closer look next time." With the last of the attackers subdued, Val began his brief trek to reunite with his brother. Now, seeing his surroundings, you could clearly see why Val was taking his time. Dirk had moved like some force of "Slew him, you say? Is that what it looked like to you?" Val muttered to himself as he shook his head, a smile shyly creeping up. "Seriously, you might want to take a closer look next time." With the last of the attackers subdued, Val began his brief trek to reunite with his brother. Now, seeing his surroundings, you could clearly see why Val was taking his time. Dirk had moved like some force of nature, all bottled up, released on the unexpected wilderness, and the poor bungling group of attackers. Smaller trees were either snapped in half or on a serious lean to one side or the other. Others had branches broken, snapped, or shattered. It all led in a haphazard drunken line that clearly, oh yes, very clearly followed the cries of injured and stranded men throughout the shattered forest. Throughout the shattered forest. Now it was not more than maybe 5 steps, 7 tops, into the tree line when Val saw the first of his conquered foes. Val stood there with his jaw dropped, silent and awestruck. To his disbelief, the brigand was stuck with head in the cavity of a tree trunk, with several disbelief, the brigand was stuck with his head in the cavity of To his disbelief, the brigand was stuck with his head in the cavity of a tree trunk, with several unidentifiable weapons bent and twisted around his appendages, pinning him upside down to the tree. The moaning that emanated from the trunk sounded as if there had to be more than one of them in there. Probably 3 or 4, but that wouldn't work, wouldn't even make sense. The hole wasn't much bigger than a man's head, but there was that third leg that seemed to be sticking out of a crack further up the tree. A couple more feet was all he could